can I love somebody just a little bit? Or can I love somebody just part of the time? For example, this week I feel in love with somebody and next week I don't, and then after 2 weeks I fall in love. Many people think that it's not possible. The love should be strong, the love should be continuous, otherwise it's kind of betrayal, it's not love. But that's a big... Most of those dogmas and beliefs refer to the few ideas about love. First of all, it's natural to love one person. That's what most people think. And secondly, if you love somebody, you should love them permanently. Like, you cannot say that you're in love today and you're not tomorrow. That means that you're not really in love, you're a cheater, you don't know what you feel, and so on. Thing number 3 is that if you're in love with somebody, you expect them to feel the same towards you. Literally, you expect these feelings towards somebody to be symmetrical, which actually never happens. And thing number 4 is that love should be strong. Love is an emotion. And if you are in love with somebody, say at 10 out of 10, you cannot be in love at 5 tomorrow and at 1 after tomorrow. That's something which people do not accept. We got used to the idea that different kinds of emotions and feelings we have can go up and down. For example, liking or hatred or disgust, irritation. Any of those emotions can be intense or not intense. They can be, say, 10 out of 10 at some moment and then 2 out of 10 at the next moment. The emotions which are directed to different people are also changing, and they depend on the people's displays. Let's say today a friend of mine or somebody hit me hard without any reason and I got offended and I got like all crazy about that. And I feel irritation, I don't feel liking to that person. Tomorrow that person tells me that it was an experiment, and I have a valid explanations of why he did that. And the next day I feel sympathy to that person and like him. And it's kind of natural that the person's displays make me change my opinion, make me change my feelings, even without really overthinking or thinking at all. But with love, love sticks out. By some reason we think that we cannot love very strong today, and depending on the displays, the love will be gone tomorrow. Or if we admit that love can depend on the displays, we do not admit that the displays could be small. Like, it should be something really strong, like betrayal, for example, or being unfaithful. And still, it's very rare that people think that you can love, say, 3 out of 10. Who says... If the person tells you I'm in love, you think automatically that it's like super strong love, 10. You don't say love if it's 3 out of 10. Like, that would be maybe liking or something else. I fell in love pretty easy, and depending on the person's displays, the love can be stronger or less strong. Sometimes I feel a little bit in love, and this love can last a week. When I tell people about that, they would say, oh, that's not love, but then what is it? The set of states and feelings and emotions I experience and I call love, I do feel it towards that person. I feel a sexual desire, a wish to assist, tenderness, liking, a set of things I usually call love. It's nothing less than that. It's just love, and I can be in love 3 out of 10. Cutting off those splashes of love like that is actually killing the ability to love. If you only think that you can love the person permanent and strong, and the love cannot change its grades and its intensity too often, you're being very callous to your own mindset, to your own mental state. If you allow yourself to be a little bit in love and just enjoy that feeling being in love, that's how you raise your ability to feel in love in general. The ability which is lost by many people just because of routine or those beliefs which are kind of encircling the idea of love. Sometimes it happens that you're in love today, but after tomorrow you're not. And suddenly after 1 week you feel in love again. The small displays the person shows actually affect your attitude a lot, and the more you can distinguish what exactly you feel, the more subtle those changes will be, and the more obvious for you. Judging yourself and feeling that that's something wrong, that you were in love yesterday and you're not today, is very common, and that's one more way to kill the splashes of love, the small displays of love, and actually the pleasure from being in love. I want to allow myself to be in love for 1 day or 2 days, and then I see the person and see the person's displays, and suddenly I'm no more in love, no longer in love. And then after 1 week, something changes again, and I feel in love again. In a relationship, it's pretty common to think that if two people are in love with each other, their displays, their feelings towards each other should be like almost ideally symmetrical. If I want to hang out with him, he has to want to hang out with me. Otherwise, my expectations are broken. I feel very bad. I suffer, and I feel pity for myself, irritation, or anything like that. But it never happens in real life that their feelings and desires and wishes towards each other are identical. They're very far from identical. And it's even harder to admit and live with the idea that I can be in love with a person and the person only can have like a sexual interest in me. I will obviously suffer because I expect that person to be in love with me too. But the dogma of symmetry is really bad, and it affects, again, the pleasure from something. I like the feeling of being in love, and obviously it will be more enjoyable if the love is mutual. But why don't I just enjoy the person the way the person allows me to? If I'm in love, why wouldn't I just have sex with the person if the person wants only sex with me? That would be really enjoyable. But no, if I'm following this dogma, this belief, I would definitely be suffering, and I say, okay, it's either all or nothing. You don't love me, okay, we are not going to have sex, we are not going to go and have dinner or talk or just go to boxing together. As a result of this symmetry myth, the person who loves more, or even the only person who loves in those relationships of two people, the person will suffer a lot from any moves which another person does or doesn't. Instead of just enjoying the feeling of love, feeling of tenderness, which are very valuable themselves, this loving person will try to squeeze identical emotions from the other person, and it kills everything. If you try to offer the person who is in love to just enjoy this feeling, being in love, without any mutuality, to just enjoy that, enjoy the tenderness, enjoy the perceptions which arise out of tenderness and so on, they will just look at you as you are crazy. They're not going to do that because they're so full of that idea of full symmetry. On the other hand, the person who doesn't love also has a whole set of accompanying emotions and states. If the person feels like they're not a very good person, maybe they should just respond with something because they know that the other person will suffer, because that other person needs some love, and they will either feel guilty or try to squeeze something out of themselves which they do not experience. And it also brings to a full catastrophe, a full disaster. Someone who is not in love will lessen the value of the feelings which she or he experiences towards the person who's in love. Those can be liking, sympathy, a wish to assist, tenderness, many things, like sexual desire separately. When I know that I feel a lot of those very pleasant perceptions and feelings towards somebody, but that person says that the person loves me, I kind of feel guilty. I wanna also feel the same that the person feels, but what's the point? I'm just belittling the feelings I experience, and I actually bring them down to zero, because it's very hard to keep experiencing them if I always feel guilty, if I always feel that these feelings are not good enough for that person. Or for example, if I'm partially in love, or if I'm, say, in love 5 out of 10, I still feel guilty because it's not 10 out of 10. So there comes this attitude, all or nothing. And this attitude in many ways kills the pleasant perception you can experience towards each other. The same thing goes with friendship. Friendship automatically means that if you're friends, you have to want the same things with each other. If that person wants to have dinner with you and eat with you, you have to also want that. It's quite impossible that the person wants to eat with you and you want to play cards with the person, or you just want to have sex with the person, and that's it. This mismatch will always be a problem. Instead of just finding the way to enjoy each other the way it's possible without compromising anybody's limits and space. Thinking this asymmetrical relationships is wrong or unpleasant automatically brings a lot of limitations. For example, how can I say a person that I love him if he doesn't tell me that back? I will feel some discontent or pity to myself. I cannot just say I love you and enjoy the moment, because I feel love. And that itself is very valuable and very pleasant state. The other way around, if the person tells me that he loves me and I don't feel like saying that back, I start to feel guilty. Instead of just enjoying the fact that the person I really like tells me that they love me, I can just be happy that the person feels this, have this feeling of love. And actually knowing that they love me and being able to enjoy that fact, I also can feel in love more than I did before. It's the same about friendship. Somebody tells you some story they're interested in and you're not interested in the story. You cannot just say, okay, I'm not interested, but I'd like to go bowling with you tomorrow. That's not good. You have to listen to the story, and the person has to go bowling with you tomorrow even if they don't want to, because you owe each other all the time, everywhere. It's very important to find the way to enjoy each other without compromising the space, without pushing each other's limits and just annoying each other. It's very important to have space in life, and very important to be able to say, I need my space. The hardest thing for me is to love without mutuality. If I feel love and I kind of want to... I know that when I'm in love and the person is in love, though it's obviously always asymmetrical, because it cannot be the other way around, I feel like I miss the moment, the situation where I'm strongly in love and I'm strongly loved. This gives me a very deep feeling of connection, of I start to enjoy small things very much. But when I ask myself why I enjoy those things very much when I feel this mutual love, in many ways that's because when I don't feel, I know that the person doesn't love me at the moment, or even like at many moments, and just wants to hang out with me sometimes, I would start to feel a lot of negative emotions, which actually make the pleasure from small things very low. And when I ask myself why is it low, I can experience love, I can enjoy love, I can enjoy tenderness, I can enjoy the presence of that person in my life. The question is because I'm just used to feel bad when that happens. What to do to avoid suffering in this situation? What to do to learn how to enjoy the asymmetrical relationships? And actually any relationships, because it goes without saying that they're all asymmetrical, always. It's very important to learn how to enjoy these asymmetrical relationships. Very important to be able to tell the person you love, or the person you don't love, or the person you love partially, what you feel towards them. And it's important that the person can tell you the same thing. It can be maybe painful because you have that myth, because you have those beliefs in your life, but it gives you a great relief. When you know that person wants this and that, and when you know that you want this and that, and you actually can be an engineer of your state. You can think as an engineer what are the possible ways to enjoy the person and the situation most. What are the possible ways to not to belittle your love, or not to belittle other feelings you experience. Other things you can do and you should do are kind of technical engineering things. It's almost the most important to just be able to write down the list of the things you want with the person, and the person writes down the list of the things they want with you, and you both try to meet where you cross, and not outside of where you cross, because any outside will be forcing yourself. For example, if I want to have sex and go to paintball with the person, and the person wants to go paintball and, for example, have dinner with me. We shouldn't go have dinner because I don't want that, and the person shouldn't be willing to do the other things with me rather than going to paintball. That's where we start. That's how we enjoy it. And from this small amount of pleasure or bigger amount of pleasure from paintball, we can grow something else. And they actually, with this approach, the area of intersecting, interlacing wishes towards each other and more symmetrical feelings is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger, and that's the way you can enjoy each other a lot. And even if your love is not mutual, even if you do not have at all any approach, any possibility to be in touch with the person you love, the value of love as an emotion is very high. It makes you feel alive. It makes you feel adaptable and able to catch those very enjoyable states which you can experience towards other people. It makes you look for love, and the state of looking for love is very enjoyable too, without expectations and without discontent that maybe you don't find the love you want right now.